Hello, everyone. Good evening. We'll just give it 2 more minutes for people to settle down. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to yet another amazing session with Thai Dubai. So, we are going to be talking a little bit more about the trust factor. And if you're a founder, you're at the right place because you're going to be finding how you can identify reputation gaps, strengthen credibility, and building trust. So, for people who are attending the Thai Dubai session for the first time, let me give a little bit of introduction. So Thai Dubai is the Middle East chapter of Thai, and it's based in Dubai Internet City, and we are the only chapter serving the Middle East. So we've been in this region for over 24 years, and we work on five foundational programs, which is mentoring, networking, education, funding, and incubation. So if you all have your phones right now, may I please request all of you to lift your phones up and scan the QR code and to follow us on our social media channels. Okay. And as usual, this is the community on WhatsApp in which you can stay updated on all the upcoming events, programs, and other announcements. We are going to be releasing our September calendar very, very soon. So please keep an eye on our WhatsApp as well. So I'll give you about 10 seconds to again lift your phones and to scan the QR code. Cool. Thank you so much. And as promised, this is the August events calendar. So we are going to be meeting in person for the next event on 23rd, which is the Thai Women Coffee Connect. So if you know any woman founder who deserves to be in the room, this is going to be an informal chat kind of a sort. So I would suggest you to please send this information to that woman founder, and we are looking forward to welcoming you guys at In5 this Sunday, 23rd, from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And after that, we have our next virtual session, which is happening next Thursday on building AI assistant. So you can take a picture on blocking your calendars on when and where. So we don't have any other in-person events other than 23rd. So 27th will be a virtual event. Cool. And here is the QR code for you to scan for our Thai Woman Meena Coffee Meetup. It's super cash. So please do come by. And it's going to be more like not a formal networking session. So it's going to be led by myself and also by Carlina, who's a Thai Woman Meena co-chair. Alrighty, so without further ado, let's introduce our speaker for today. So it's been an absolute pleasure for me to welcome Ms. Meeta Srinivasan, who's the founder and CEO of MarketBus International. She's been in the PR and comms industry for over 3 decades, and also she's a Thai Dubai charter member. So over to you, Meeta.
Thanks, Pradibha. Thank you very much for hosting me, and I'm really excited to actually share a little bit of my knowledge. You know how passionate I am about PR. So, given the change in everything that's going on these days, I think it's very important that we should keep track of our PR stuff as well. So, hello to everybody who's joined us today. Thank you very much for taking time out to join me and Thai Dubai for this particular one. Um, Reputation has shaped a lot of my work for more than the 25 plus years that I've been running Market Buzz, and then the few years before that when I was working in other places. I have seen really, really good businesses being held back because people could not clearly understand what they were doing, verify their claims, or find consistent information about the founder. Today is going to be a very practical session. A lot of you who registered got a pre-worksheet, a pre-event sheet. So if you've done a little bit of notes on that one, that would be useful. Keep that ready. Open those and keep those ready with you. If you haven't, that's fine. We will probably sing. I may ask for a couple of people to do interview. You leave today's session with 3 actions for your business, not 30 ideas, but it'll basically, when you say 30 days, it's probably something that you're going to have to do on a more regular basis. But they're like 3 basic questions that you will need to do. So 3 things that we will be doing today as well. We'll be talking about what the stranger test that we have. What a stranger sees about you. It means anybody who doesn't know your business or is coming to your page or whether it's a LinkedIn page or a business page, whatever. Compare your strongest claims with the proof behind it. Look at how AI is describing your business, and it'll finish with a plan. If you've completed some of the pre-work, you already have some of the material ready with you. If you don't, that's fine. Don't worry. We can still complete exercises as we go along. Please use the chat as we go. Whenever you want to share, and if you're okay with us to share in public, that's fine. We will probably try and pick somebody that way. So there are 3 ideas that are running through this session. First, most founders are more likely to be invisible rather than disliked. Those are very different problems. Second, trust sits in the gap between what you claim and what someone can verify. The third is proof has to be built deliberately. It doesn't simply appear because you've been in business for years. And this is for anybody, whether you're in business or you're at the top of your management game, whatever. And one more thing, your reputation and your personal reputation and your company's reputation are separate assets. They could support each other, but one should not carry the other always. So here is the stranger test that we want. I will give you guys about 2-3 minutes for this and go silent. Open your about page and then read it as if you've never seen it before. Read and see what it says. I'm talking about the company about page. Then open your own personal LinkedIn profile and see and read what you've written about yourself. 2 minutes. Pratibha, I hope you keep a timer on this one.
Yes, for sure.
We had enough time?
Yep.
Is everybody ready? Okay. So if you completed the pre-work, your website and your LinkedIn profile should already be open. If not, open them now. Look at your company about page. Give yourself 10 seconds. Do not change the wording or anything else. In a young company, most of the credibility naturally sits with the founder because nobody knows the business as yet. That's normal. The risk is failing to notice when some of that credibility should, when some of that credibility should start moving into the company, but it doesn't. If customers, investors, and employees are only trusting the founder, the business becomes too dependent on one person. And that's where you need to start working on building your company profile as much as you could do with your singers. It would be interesting to see in the chat how many of you felt that your there was a disconnect between what's on your company page and what's in the what was in the about page. So there are three common gaps in a business. Sometimes both the founder and the company are almost visible. You may be doing excellent work, but a stranger cannot check you. Sometimes the founder is the only visible asset. That feels like strength, but it creates dependence and can worry investors or senior hires if you're looking for new people to add to your team. And sometimes there is a mismatch. The company looks like it's polished, but the founder's footprint is thin and outdated or contradictory. The requirement is not really being constantly visible, but it is being verifiable. You do not have to post every day, but whatever you have needs to be checked, needs to be verifiable. Maybe it's people should be able to find out what you're saying is right and not just something that you just made out of thin air. If some of you follow me on LinkedIn, you'll see my post from last week where I was talking about AI slop. So now we'll move on to something where you actually sit. Okay, so this is something that I had sent earlier on. And what you want to do is you open the worksheet. I think, Pratibha, you put in the link to the worksheet, which we have to work on
Yes,
in
I
the
just
chat.
shared the pre-work document. I'll share the worksheet as well.
And the worksheet is probably more important because that's the one that we'll be working on right through the session. So if you open the worksheet, you will see a grid like this. So what I would do is go look at listing and see, be very honest with yourself, because remember, save that worksheet as a different version and a copy, which is just for yourself, and don't fill in the worksheet, that link that she's given you, because there'll be lots of other people filling it in. So save a copy for you on Google and then fill it in. And then keep that for yourself because that'll be a document that you can probably use for later. So there's four different areas that you need to look at and see how you are perceived. This is about your perception about it. Are you known and distrusted? Are you known and well regarded? Are you unknown and viewed with suspicion? Or are you unknown with no strong feeling, which is probably an area where most founders and new business owners are sitting in. So let's see if there are anybody. I'll give you like quick couple of minutes. Looks like a lot of people. Um, to Shaheen, just save it as a copy. You don't have to have access to the actual thing. You just can save it as a copy, and then you will be able to do it. Interesting. Ankita seems to be doing well. So can we move on? Are we guys ready? Good. So once you've got this picture, let's go on to the next one, which is talking about your claim and proof. Okay. So this is going to be a little bit longer, the exercise. So there are 4 boxes. And in your worksheet, you'll find these boxes as well. Go in there and talk in what is your strongest claim that you can make. Whatever it is that you say in your pitch, in your saying any one sentence. And then in box 2, based on whatever you looked at your own pages and whatever people can find on AI, what is the proof that a stranger, what proof do you have that a stranger could verify in 60 seconds without contacting you, without taking your word for it? If box 2 feels thin, that's fine. Don't worry. You are in the majority. This is a gap that we will be looking at to see if we can identify and fix it. Now, one more question though, is the proof attached to you, the company, or both? I'll give you 2 minutes. Pratibha, can you put a timer for 2 minutes for this?
Yes, sure.
Sarah, you don't have to save it. Just go to file and say make a copy, and it'll give you a chance to make a separate copy.
You still have 1 more minute, guys. Yeah, it's time now.
So, sorry, box. So, trusted me by leading brands, award winning, and a market leader. These are claims that you're doing. They may be true, but they're not proof on their own unless you can unless they verify. You have logos on your websites that talk about these are customers I work with, or these are people I've have endorsed me, or here's the magazines I have appeared on because they look good on your thing. But can someone verify it? Are they linked to a particular person or an email, or where you can send a document, or is there a PDF or something that they can? Proof is very, very specific. You have to if you name a client, you should be able to show what the problem was, what the result was, and a quote from a real person with a job title. And that way, then that has a lot more validity than just a logo. Just making a claim which is not verifiable it looks very pretty on your website, but it doesn't really do much for the trust factor for what you do as a business. So when you're going into your website, have a look at it. And when you look at it, and then make sure you maybe have a blog where you can talk about customer stories, but make sure you take customer permissions before you actually use their logo and before you do it. When you put their logo on your website, have you asked their permission that you can use it? Can you link it to their page so that people can see who they are, that they're real people in the real business? And that's very important for you to talk. People can verify what they are. So now we'll probably have to go make sure you guys have your websites open. Make sure that we can use AI to do your verifications. So there's one question. I would open more than one thing. Try and see. I tried it with ChatGPT, which I use on a more regular basis, and you can't do an anonymous sign out. It keeps asking you to sign in. But Claude asks you to do it in incognito ones. So in incognito version, if you can click on the little incognito mark at the corner. It's on the top right-hand corner. So go and put down this one question. What does the company do and who runs it? As a completely the thing. And then when you get a result out of it, click on the citations and see where that particular information came from. I was surprised because I did it with MarketBuzz. So I'll give you guys another 2 minutes to go and do 2 to 3 minutes to go onto these different chat AI platforms, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, whichever one you use, and go ahead. If you're doing it in Arabic, do it in Arabic as well, and see if that also matches what they say about your company and what you do. 2 minutes, Pratibha, for this. Is 2 minutes enough?
Yeah.
I hope everybody 2 minutes is enough. Let me know in the chat if you want more than that. Okay, I'm going to mute myself so I can send Sarah. Sarah, on WhatsApp, I'll send you the document because I know who you are. Also, Pratibha, can you save Deepa's question? It's a very good one.
Sure, I'll do that. Your time is up, guys.
Okay. So before coming on this show, on the session, I did it for my own business. Okay, it's slightly tiny over here to look at. So if I click on this, it might show you on a bigger scale, I hope. But I did it on both on Claude and on Gemini, which I don't use that often. And this is what it came back with me. I had I asked the same question, and both the answers were mostly accurate. But just because it was mostly broadly accurate, there were some differences. For example, it was interesting to see where they got the information from. Gemini, for example, called it a PR, marketing and strategic communications agency, and then included some services that are not how I currently position my business, and it got most of its information from my website. Claude, on the other hand, used two directories that I know the campaign Middle East directory I'm definitely in because I keep it updated, but a Zoom Info, I had never even heard of it. And it really, really got my information from there. Some of it was from the day I first started. When I first started my business, I started it in Dubai Media City. And it still has those old phone numbers and everything else. And I've moved out of there for a long time. There was some information about my business. Mostly it was there. None of it is really a crisis, but it simply shows why we need to keep checking about what is being said rather than assume the information is correct. Zoom Info, I don't think it's one of those ancient ones. We're talking about early 2000s. So, they used to do these curated websites. They just garnered information from the internet and carried them. And I'm presuming that's where it came from. But it just says that even though I'm extra careful about everything, there are still information out there. And citations you'll see over here, if I can just, okay, let me just, this thing, you see these little thingies that they have at the bottom over here, which says what the citations are. You click on those links, then you'll take you to where the actual information is. Sorry. So what I would like everybody to do now is basically create one document that has all of your information in there, your descriptions in 3 different versions, your bio, your verifiable facts, and 3 proof points. These can then be created as a document that you can deploy everywhere. This is probably the easiest way to do it, and it can fix certain consistencies. If some of the citations are important ones and they're outdated information, see if you can go in and log in and find out if you can change that information or delete it if it's not that important. Because you don't want ancient stuff to be picked up. Okay? Try and find one client, one problem that you can actually talk to, verify, create a case study with one person, which you can use, create like a PDF that you can use as part of your process of creating stories and verifiers. It's almost like a reference that you would do if you went for a job interview, right? If you ask for references, what have you done? Who are you? They can go and verify it. It's the same thing with the business. People want to see what have you done? Where have you been? What do you stand for? Has somebody used it? If you're brand new, it's a bit difficult, but then you can use your own personal experience to use that as something that is verifiable that they can talk about. Check some of the credible pages that you do not control, including things like partner pages, associations, chambers, free zones, directories. These are very, very places where some people sometimes use. And if they're important to you, make sure you go in there and check them. They're like really little nitty-gritty things, but these days with AI and internet and everything else, this is what gets picked up and gets thrown at you when people go in on an AI and asks question about you. That's what's going to come back to you on the AI when they do their search. So the fourth point was like focuses on founder visibility. Consistency matters more than volume. Being useful on one clear subject is better than commenting on everything. Earned media and speaking come fifth. So if you know anybody who's coming, like for example, ask, you get a lot of people a lot of businesses think that if they pay for earned media, pay for media coverage, and it's not authentic, it's going to raise their profile. It doesn't. What it does is doesn't create a thing. And trust me, I prefer to I work with a lot of my thing, and I prefer to have earned media, which means it talks about credibility, it talks about verifying information, it makes sure that it's a magazine that's made, that is of the top quality in the top tier of all this thing, and that's very important. And speaking assignments also, be very selective. You don't have to be everywhere. Don't say yes to everything, but make sure it is absolutely has the highest credibility and gives you the right kind of credibility. And you can check. Sometimes go into to AI and ask it. I've been offered an opportunity here. What do you think? And it will go and troll and find out if there's something that's worth it for you to do. And there are lots of paid media outlets out there. They're not all worth it. You have better things to do with that money that you have, especially if you're a startup. We're almost at the end. You probably see. So this is one of the things I suggest that we should do every week. Every week. You need to do, your protection is not an expense. It just needs a regular habit. Just make sure you have the same 20-minute slot each week. Maybe give it to somebody in your team if you have more than one person, or put it into your calendar and block off that time, that time of the week, every week, you will do the scan. Ask these 5 questions, and then just look at what is new, what is changing, what kind of tone there is. Are there any repeated complaints? Is there information from client colleagues? Are there industry stories that could affect you? It's very, very important. One complaint may be noise. One complaint from a client is maybe noise, but the same complaint 3 times is information that can help you to change how you do your business and what you need. Okay? So this is in your worksheet already anyway. So this is something that you can take away and use and keep it with them. Give it to somebody in your team to do this on a regular basis. Go in there and check. Do not shy away from these things. Please be honest and true to yourself, because this is where your reputation and your trust for your business angles. And you need to be able to do this. If it feels like it's really a crisis, and there's no way to do something about it, then yes, definitely act now. But if it's something that is okay, red means really act now, amber means keep it under review, but keep reviewing it, and green means you have to keep a watch on it. As they always say, it's very easy. Sometimes it's easier to get to the top, but to stay there is harder, because you have to work harder to make sure that you're there. Okay. Now, and this is the last bit of your next plan is you have to give yourself 3 commitments with owner, or somebody who will own this, and have a date for this. Find one thing that is wrong, old, or missing, and fix it. One claim with no evidence behind it, so you can create the evidence behind it, and build one piece of proof that does not exist yet. Make sure you find somebody in your team. If that's you, then that's you, because if you're a solopreneur and you're just starting out, then that may be you. And it just necessarily doesn't mean just about the company. It could be about you personally as well. But don't always mix up what you do for you as a person and what the company does as well, because they may be interactive, but they're not exclusive to each other. Okay. And this is also in that worksheet that I shared with all of you. And last thing that you need to take away before we finish and go to questions is you're more likely to be invisible than disliked. Okay, and it's a completely different thing. Invisible means you can do something about it. Dislike means you have a harder job to go this thing, and which means that you need to take more of an action to basically find out why and how to fix that. A claim without verifiable proof is a liability, it's not an asset. You need to be able to make sure that you have fewer claims, but verifiable proof, and find a way to do that. Your reputation and the companies are two separate assets. Build both, but don't let one carry the other forever. Okay, it needs to be simultaneous. Yes, you are the business, but the business is not you. I've seen so many owners have their business description and sales in their bios. That's not who you are. If you are a founder, your bio should be about who you are, not what you do. Your business has to be about what you do. And it needs to draw on the experience, especially when you're new, on what the founder's background is. I hope that clarifies and takes something away for you guys to take away from me. And I'm open to questions.
So Meeta, I'm going to be shooting the first question which came in the Q&A.
Okay.
Yeah. So this founder says she's currently launching a new brand of her own, and this is going to be her whole and soul going forward. It is in the health and wellness space. However, her personal profile on LinkedIn shows her presence in health and wellness at a different level, but her venture, Deep Fit, which is her personal brand, has a detailed philosophy. What should be her course of action here?
Well, first of all, she should basically start looking at the profile that's out there that is easily accessible and what this thing. So when she does the search in the AI, she can find out where they are and she can start doing a subtle change. Her experience is what makes her a good founder of the new business, and that should not be turned away. But we should definitely start looking at when she's building a new business is talk about what the new business is about. So she could keep them both separate because they're important, but then she definitely needs to start talking about the new business as well. And that means that wherever she is listed as a founder, she needs to start making sure that it is linked to the new business and what it means. And it'll take time because she's just starting out. So there's a lot of stuff that can be done.
Thank you so much. So the next,
It's a lot of stuff that I would have a long conversation with. It's a 30-minute conversation and a lot of questions.
yeah. So I have another question for you. So this founder says, he asks, if we are a newly launched company, AI will get info from limited sources like our own website and social media pages. I launched a company earlier and have success proof, and now I'm launching a boot camp to share my experiences. How would you approach this?
Well, I think he's doing quite well because if his website and is where the information is coming from, he needs to make sure that that information is constantly updated and looked at and actually that it's accurate at any given time. And that's what is going to, and then he needs to go back and see if he's registered that business on any kind of directories or any other platforms. He needs to make sure that that's there. Go and look at his social media and look at the profiles there, what is there. He can use things like, I think it's a ManyChat for WhatsApp. And then there's Linktree that goes across the board where you can have lots of different links about the different areas you do. He can actually use all of that to make the thing. I'm a big fan of owned media. It's very different. Not earned media, not paid media, owned media. So that is things that you have control over. That is your website. That's your blog. That's your social media handles and your social media pages. That's your WhatsApp channel. That's your Google My Business. These are all places that you can use to create information about your thing. I think the reason why Gemini picked up so much from my website is I do a weekly post on my Google My Business about stuff that I do as on my blog, and I put it in there. So it gets a lot of information straight from there because I'm doing it every week on Google My Business. So Gemini is feeding off that, I'm sure.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Speaking of Gemini, I have another follow-up question, which is even I had this question as well. As a founder, should I have my own Wikipedia page to increase searchability?
What would you put on it? I mean, you just don't have to have a page just for the sake of doing a page. It means you need to have some sort of story and some sort of background. And there are specialists who do wiki pages for this. Even I wouldn't attempt, and I'm in PR, I would not attempt a wiki page because it's a lot more complicated. There have to be citations. There definitely has to be proof. There definitely has to be verifiable, the ability to verify it. There's even more question on your verify and trust factor when you create a wiki page. But yeah, I would say as if you've been in business for a very long time, yes, why not? Great. But you have to find the right kind of person to do that wiki page. And there are specialists out there that you can find to do it. But yes, you need to make sure there's citations. You need to make sure there's enough information. Go to any wiki page and see what they write about you and then see it is. And remember something, this is an open source thing. So there are people who can go in there and ask for corrections.
Yeah,
And you don't have control on that. Just
yeah,
to just to give you a point. So
that's
yeah,
very helpful. Yeah. So
yeah,
there's another question I have for you. So you mentioned a lot about AI tools here, right? So there's a
yes.
founder here who wants to understand which AI tool should he focus on a lot? Is it Claude, is it Gemini, or GPT?
Well, it depends on, see, I mean, right from the big, I'm a nerd. So I try everything first when it comes out. Everything came out, I tried everything. But ChatGPT is the one that's been around the longest officially for a very long time. So it was one of the things. So the problem is that because I interact with it on a regular basis, it probably has a lot more information and it's probably been trained by me quite well. It will probably tell me more about myself, which is why when I did my exercise, I didn't go into ChatGPT because it knows everything about me and my business and my clients and everything else. So I'm not even going to go there. But Claude, I don't use that much. So I would say play around with it, give it enough. It doesn't matter what the platform is. For me, I find Perplexity is useful for doing research. It's really, really good at research, really good at finding the right links and finding you background information. So if you want some in research and stuff like that, I know Claude these days is doing a lot more of that as well. And so is ChatGPT. But I found that Perplexity is quite good when it comes to research and getting you citations. But for day-to-day stuff and everything else, I personally use ChatGPT and I'm quite comfortable with it. So
That's amazing. Thank you so much. So, guys, do you have any other follow-up questions? This is your time to get all your questions answered.
um Bobby, thank you very much for that comment. I love that. If you feel like it, I mean, Pratibha, if you want, I have a follow my Market Buzz blog. It has a weekly blog, and it's basically not a sales pitch. Trust me, it's all about the little nitty-gritty things that you get actually contribute to your PR and reputation. And so it's free, it's out there. I have a WhatsApp channel, so you guys can do it. And of course, if you reach out to Pratibha, she'll put you in touch with me if you really want to have a conversation.
Thank you, Meeta. So I have another question for you before we let you go. So this founder wants to know if it's useful to create video content to increase searchability.
Well, it depends. And some of the social media platforms, yes, definitely. I know that YouTube is a very useful one to do. And I think there is a strategy and quite a useful one to do that. So yeah, why not? If you're comfortable and you're good at creating video content, why not? People like visual stuff. And I've
Mhm.
noticed that in YouTube, there's a lot of long content that's doing long form videos that are doing quite well in the channels because people have a little bit. I mean, I've seen my teenage grandson prefers to watch long videos on YouTube. He doesn't do shorts. He doesn't have the time for that. It's too thing. He wants a beginning and balancing it. So if that's the future of your workplace, then yeah, maybe with long-term videos, something like YouTube might be a good one to do. It depends on how comfortable you are.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. So, another follow-up question to that is, as a first step, what do you suggest to improve our visibility? Is it by using more keywords in post? That's the question.
No, first get your information correct. Go to that worksheet, get your own information. That last thing that I told you about creating that one document that talks about who you are, what claim you make, can you prove it, and finding a really good customer story. I would say start with that first. A bio about yourself, a bio about your business, and not a sales pitch, which is important, something that's verifiable. I would say start with the basics first. Make sure that the information that you feed out there is the thing. And then after that, yes.
Yeah.
But whatever you do PR wise, please be consistent. That is what's going to get people to trust you, that you keep showing up, that you're not just a figment of imagination. Don't just do in spurts. Maybe create a schedule where you have to do this on a regular basis.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much. Guys, do you have any other doubts? Any questions? Any burning questions? This is your opportunity to ask questions and grill the
Okay,
people.
somebody's asking for my website. I'll just put it over here. Can you just put my address because I'm not able to do that.
Sure, I'll do that. Anything else? Thank you. Thank you, Carlina. Well, I guess that's it. So I'll be sharing Meeta's LinkedIn and website with you all. So in case if you have any doubts, you can ask her directly. Meeta, I would like to thank you on behalf of Thai Dubai for your time. It was a lovely session full of insights, and I'm sure like we have a lot of homework to do after this.
Yeah, well, that was the general idea, really.
Well, we really
And please don't
appreciate it.
hate me for the homework. But it's an important bit of tasks that you really should do for your businesses.
Mhm. Thank you so much for your time. And for the lovely audience that stayed throughout, please post your thoughts on social media and please don't forget to tag us on Thai Dubai. So we'll be reposting your post from our side, either on LinkedIn or Instagram as well. And you can find the recording of the session in YouTube in a few days. So thank you so much and have a lovely day, everyone.